Welcome back to Talk to Me Podcast 100, a space where real conversations lead to real growth, finding the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Adriana, and if this is your first time, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new episode. But this episode is going to be a powerful one and a much needed episode. We're joined here by Emma Sanders. You can come in. Emma Sanders is a strong, resilient Black woman whose life work is rooted in uplifting women and reminding them that are enough. Through her voice, her journey, and her purpose, Emma helps women fix their crowns, face their reflections with confidence, embrace themselves for better days ahead. She understands that strength isn't about never breaking, it's about rebuilding. It's about healing, growing, and walking boldly in your worth. Emma isn't just empowering women, she's helping them transform. Emma, welcome to Talk to Me Podcast 100.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you. And for those who don't know, I asked her literally a week and a half ago, and she said yes with no hesitation. So I thank you so much.
Thing that you're doing.
Thank you. So just diving into you and getting a little more into depths of who you are, if you could tell the people, because we all know you as Emma Sanders, Emma Bennett. So what is the origin of your name and what do you prefer to go by?
Okay, so my name is Emma Sanders.
Hmm.
Most people know my family name, and that's Bennett. So I've been called Emma Bennett, a little Emma, Emily Jr., as stated on my Facebook account for the longest. Um, but Emma is fine. My name really came from my grandmother. I was named after her.
Okay.
My mother named me after her when she joked to me and told me that she named me Emma so that my grandma would treat me nice.
Oh.
So, so she kind of from the birth stories that she was incarcerated and then she named me after my grandmother. My grandmother came and got me while my mother went back and then she got out eventually. But but yeah, Emily Jr. is fine. I love that name.
That's very empowering. And as far as your credentials and work history goes, I know you don't have to start with your very first job, but is there any past jobs that you have done that, or up until now, what are some of those that you have
So I have most of my jobs have been in the nonprofit sector.
done? Okay.
So like my very first job was Boys and Girls Club. So like that to me started that passion for service because I remember Mr. Hugh was my first boss and he took a chance on me. And I was a young person. I was like 15 when I started working there.
Yes.
And I was like their first club member. I went home and forged that paper. My mama was in there asleep, but I forged the paper to be the first club member. Then I ended up being one of the youth development workers there.
Okay.
And then so when I left Boys and Girls Club, I ended up going to Head Start. So then I was a preschool teacher at Head Start, and then I worked in the home health care field for a little bit before I ended up in the nonprofit that I am in now, and that's Domestic Abuse Council Evolution.
Now, just to ride off of that little wave, when you mentioned the Boys and Girls Club, that really stuck with me, honestly, because if you were 14, 15, I'm 33 now, so I don't know our age difference, but we were really young. And living in Espanola country part, you know, we had like games we made up and go to the like community center and stuff. But when we were Mr. Hughes say we going out, we used to be ready.
Ready.
And I remember going to Steak and Steak. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Steak and Steak is still a thing. They've changed it to celebrate the children now. Okay. I've been in my adult. Like the person that was the former president invited me while I was still working at Domestic Abuse Council because they were trying to recruit me to work for Boys and Girls Club.
Full circle.
I'm not gonna lie, it just wasn't paying enough. Yeah. But he would invite me to things because we wanted to get a new club in Flagler. Right. So I went with him on this promotion tour, kind of meeting people at Steak and Steak, and it was more so like this kid started Steak and Steak, and this is what they're doing now, sort of thing. So, but they should be getting a club in Flagler, so I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. I know that was very inspiring to see so many younger kids coming together and just hearing motivation just at such a young age. And then, like I said, you at that age, it was really no one else that we would mirror or reflect off of that was doing something like that and taking that chance to just be different and not fall along with the crowd and step outside of your element. So I was just like, yeah, she's definitely going somewhere and gonna playing the I Believe I Can Fly music at the time. So
listen, I've been Miss Emma. I tell people I've been Miss Emma a long
oh
time.
yeah,
And like the kids thought I was older. I wasn't very much older than them at all. I think
and
it
you
was
have
the maturity.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The comfortness that you even have when you talk to them, when you be like baby, or just using those words, that actually helps them, open up to you a little bit more too. Like that. And now, as far as like, you say you work with nonprofit and stuff like that. Is there any specific organizations within that you're working with?
So right now, I work for the Domestic Abuse Council, and I'm the current director of community impact.
Okay.
I started in that agency as a shelter advocate in 2017, so I have kind of worked my way up and through. I've worked almost every job in that agency. I even was the interim CEO for about 3 months when we were going through a transition. So I've done everything there.
Now, religion. Would you say you're a religious woman?
I am.
And if you don't mind me asking, what religion?
I'm Christian. I belong to St. James Missionary Baptist Church in Bunnell, Florida.
All right. Okay. So what is 2 things that you remember growing up in the Christian household family that stick with you to this day?
Okay. So my grandmother had her own relationship. She was one of those that had her own relationship with Christ. You know her heart, right?
Oh yeah.
But I stayed in different homes, and so my exposure to like actually getting up and going to church was like more so. I remember at my Auntie Tanya's home because her husband was a minister in the Land Church, and I remember singing in the choir. And then I remember just a lot of youth stuff at that church. And then later on, I remember going to St. Paul more so, back to my grandmother's family and getting out there. I said one thing that I do remember fondly for St. Paul was Sister Essie Giddens. She was the Sunday school teacher.
Oh, yes.
And so, like, I've always been a teacher's pet type of person. So I just remember fondly of her pulling me to the side and putting some little nuggets in me. So I'm grateful for that experience.
Oh, yes. I would say, like, being able to just pray, even my mom used to always say, no matter what you're going through, just pray. Even if you can't find the words, just try to think in your head. And even if you can't say it out loud, just pray, pray, pray.
Absolutely. Things that I remember her saying was, get up, get on, and go on.
Oh, yeah.
Was that something like that? And so, like, that was something, we still use to this day, maybe not in the same language, but that's the mindset. It's getting up and getting over and going on.
Miss Giddens definitely touched a lot of people. So, children, you have any children?
So right now I am a mom of 3 teenagers.
Ooh.
So my oldest is 18. He'll be 19 in August. My middle child will be 17 on March 13th. He's my Friday the 13th baby.
Oh, okay.
And he's someone that lives up to that. That's the middle child. And then I have my sweet baby girl. She's 15.
Okay. And which one do you see yourself in more, or is it a mixture?
It's a mixture. Like Saya is, oh my gosh. Saya is my oldest child, and he has, what does he take from me? He has a sort of innocence.
Okay.
That I have at times. Mark is so strong-willed, and so he gets some of that from me, like the good strong-willed.
Yeah.
He does take some from his other side. God bless him. But he is really strong-willed. He's really vocal. He's really not afraid. Yeah. And so I think he gets that from me. And my daughter, we're opposite in our personality. She has more of a timidness about her, but she's got quick wit. Oh, like when she's not trying to be shy, and when she's comfortable, she's really witty. Oh. So I was like, ooh, I got a match there.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
So in your household, I know you said you was in different homes. As far as siblings go, whether it was in your home or just in general, how many do you have?
So I have 3 older brothers, and they're all from my mom. And then I have 2 sisters from my dad. So my dad had 2 sisters. One of my siblings from my mom is my dad's child too. And then I have 3 brothers from my adopted family. So like when I say my brothers, I have 6 because I have 3 from my mom, but I have another mom named Carla. And so I have 6 brothers total.
I remember Miss Carla. She was an usher at St. Paul.
She was an usher. Yep. And that's how I ended up back at St. Paul. Yes. Okay. Through that family.
Yes. Yeah. Middle school and high school. I know you grew up in Flagler. Did you ever play any sports?
No. I'm an athletic person by just natural ability. Yeah. But I did not play team sports. I honestly I didn't have good sportsmanship. I like to win. I was really competitive. But honestly, once I started working, I would work after school, so it didn't make time for me to play team sports. But I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't have good sportsmanship if we didn't win. That's why I was like, I've always been more of a one-person army with support. Right. Because I don't like anything that I have to be losing because of somebody else.
So not even like any like clubs or activities like dancing.
So because I started working when I was like 14, some of the clubs that I was a part of was like the African American Club at high school, or there was a Mr. and Mrs. Mentoring Club. But I spent a lot of time with Miss Marion before I was even working, or the times I wasn't. Like I did a lot of volunteering for Teen Court.
Okay, Miss Marion Irvin.
Miss Marion Irvin. Okay. So or I did spend a lot of time in the law library when she was organizing that law library when her office was in there. Okay. So I wasn't part of a lot of group stuff. Teen Court had some groups, but like I was lead prosecution attorney at the time. So like they hated me because I was a prosecutor and I didn't play. So but yeah.
Wow, it's just amazing just hearing all the things you've been involved in and stuff. Okay. And so I'm not even going to ask you what school you graduated from because I'm sure it's FPC. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, friends, do you still have any friends from high school? Not just associates, like close friends.
I have a couple. I think I don't talk to them every day. Right. But there's love there. There's attachment there. As far as like hanging out, like I do hang out more with friends that I've kind of gathered in my adult life, in my healed life. People that are kind of walking the same path that I'm walking, so I do spend more time with them because there's just more in common.
Because that is a real thing when you think that you're going to be friends with the person at that time forever and ever and ever. And then life goes on and start life in. But it is a fair few that you stick with that you don't have to speak with every day. You don't have to see all the time. And it's just a unexplained thing that when you get together, it's back like you never left.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So childhood memory. What is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Favorite childhood memories? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a shame I have to dig this far. God. It is hard. Oh my goodness. I think my favorite childhood memories often when like things that I recall are things that I've done and been awarded for, which sucks. And like people like, oh, but like I remember winning Steak and State in Youth of the Year. So like Youth of the Year for Flagler County. And I was 15 and I was standing inside the Ocean Center giving a speech to 500 people. And then my mom was still pissed off to this day because I told him she was on drugs.
In front of all those people.
But the speech I had to do a speech on what I overcame. Right. And so like unfortunately, like, still trying to get my mom to understand, like as much as love as I have for you and what you've been to me, even in my adult life or when I became a mother, like it's still a part of my story. Exactly. So like she like every now and then I'll hear her say, yeah, you stood in front of those people at the Ocean Center and told them I was on drugs. But honestly, I won for Volusia in Flagler County, and I was the youngest person to do so. And I said, unfortunately, I was so young, I couldn't even compete at the state level because I wasn't a high school senior. Oh man! So like I kind of got gypped because there were scholarships that came with that. But standing in front of those people then made me know that hey, I'm gonna be speaking to people for the rest of my life.
And did you attend college? Or
I did, but I attended Bethune-Cookman University later on. I went back as an adult.
Oh, right. Now, I do want to switch gears and dive a little deeper into a lot of, I would say it's more of a conversation that I think should be talked about a lot more, because people really look at domestic violence as if it's just your partner, and it could be a sibling in the home, so it goes a lot broader than what a lot of people see it as. And I just wanted the education part of domestic violence. So, what are some of the main key components that make up domestic violence besides physical?
So, I kind of want to start off by defining it, right? So, domestic violence is someone using tactics, whether they're physical, financial, emotional, psychological, mental, legal, to gain and maintain power and control. So, they're using tactics, whatever form, all of it is violence, whether it's the physical form, it's emotional violence, it's psychological violence, it's financial violence. All of those are violence that are used to gain and maintain power over someone else. An intimate partner, whether it's intimate partner or you have some family dynamics that are kind of set up like that.
Yeah.
But it's not about anger management. A lot of people think that, oh, this person got an anger management problem,
Right.
and so they're beating their spouse, and that's not the case. So you have people that go to work just fine, hang out with their friends just fine, and then they go home and choose to enact violence against their spouse.
Exactly. What are some of the red flags that people can recognize if they're in that situation?
I think learning the dynamics is key, because there's a difference between, I think what I want a lot of women, especially women, and then some men too, because men do experience violence, is that there is a difference between we've been through a lot together and this person's intentionally taking me through a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so like anytime that you attempt to set a boundary, if you have someone who is not respecting those boundaries or trying to manipulate and coerce you to remove that boundary, that is someone who does not respect your autonomy and still wants to manipulate you to do what they want you to do. Yes. And it does not get any better. I think when we don't recognize that someone is stepping on our boundaries or don't respect our boundaries and we make excuses for it, we set ourselves up to gradually over time for things to escalate. And then we lose power in a relationship once we don't hold our boundaries. Yes. And so another red flag could be like a lot of people, I think the youth have this idea of this toxic, that they're using and they make fun of it. Oh, that's so toxic, that's so cute, and it's not, because it escalates. If you have someone, it's a difference if someone caring about you getting somewhere safe and monitoring you.
Yes.
I've had girls who have, had to take pictures of stop signs and red lights to kind of identify where they say they are at, and that's not concern. That's someone trying to control a situation. So there's so many red flags, whether that be like someone not letting you have access to money in the household. Yeah. So a lot of people, abuser might tell them like, oh, you're not good with money. But no, it's really so that you don't have access to resources. And they can control how you move forward or the movement at all. Because if you don't have access to resources, or I'm stopping you from going to school, every time you get ready to start a new class, I'm burning your books, or I'm keeping you up at night because I know you got a test in the morning, you fail. Yes. Or you every time you try to start a new job, there's an argument. Or you're trying to go around family and friends, and every time y'all leave there, y'all have to fight. So eventually you stop going around family and friends, and like people think it's just an isolated thing. No, it is used to isolate you from others. And the more that you're isolated, the more power and control that you have. Or they might triangulate you with friends, so like they're causing problems, telling you that your friends are jealous of you. And no, we know sometimes that might be true. Right. But sometimes that is part of the manipulation that this person is talking about you, telling you that people are talking about you, don't like you, and then you stop pulling on and trusting others. You only pull to them. And so it kind of reestablishes that power that they're seeking in that relationship. So there's so many dynamics that people don't know about.
And do you think a lot of that be like trauma that they have and that they're carrying over to someone else, or is it just anger that they have? Well, I know it's not always a form of anger, but.
So you're talking about the perpetrator?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes, they might have childhood trauma. Sometimes we see violence and we breed violence and we continue violence, and that's how we know to solve our problems. But when we talk about wanting power over somebody, it's feeling entitled to that power. Yeah. So like I feel entitled to this power. Like you supposed to do this. This is, or if you don't do this, I'm gonna do this. So sometimes it is trauma. Sometimes it is past experiences. But I think what women have to realize is that there's nothing different about us than anybody else. Exactly. You have some abusers who are so manipulative to the point that they will tell you that they'll make you feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
And then you, in turn, they will blame you for the abuse that they enact upon you, and you will also blame yourself.
Exactly.
So no matter what the childhood trauma is, we all have a responsibility to work towards being our best selves and heal ourselves.
Yeah, because you hear a lot of times some people tell you, "Oh, they're gonna harm themselves," knowing that they're not, but it's just to keep you from doing whatever it is.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had to teach girls about that as well, because that's a tactic. That's a manipulation tactic. And like, especially if you have somebody who has a family member who's committed suicide, and this person is personally attached to that person, or they feel the blame of what they could have did better, and you tell your abuser that, and then every time you say that, "Oh, I don't like the way you do this," or "I'm about to leave," and then now they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna kill myself if you leave," and then now you feel responsible because of the trauma that you had before. So they're using your trauma and your vulnerability to exploit and manipulate you. And so that is something that we see that is common too.
Well, what can a friend or family member that's seeing someone that's in a situation like that or noticing certain signs without triggering them, because some people can get defensive and fall back. So what are some of the things that they can do or say in that moment?
So I think culturally, when we talk about people, and specifically in our community, we have a tendency to try to tough love for people.
Yes.
And while that might work in some instances, it's not ideal for domestic violence, because there's already shame that's attached to someone that is experiencing domestic violence. It's the shame, it's the judgment that comes with it, or how can I justify that I still love somebody that's beat me when they feel like it. And so a lot of times when we go and we judge them, or we say what they should and they shouldn't do, it does help further isolate them from support systems. Oh, you just gonna go back, I ain't gonna do nothing about it, just gonna go back. So like, one thing that we can do is educate ourselves on the dynamics to try to understand their thought process, because you have to really try to get in their head and see what their reasonings are.
Yes.
And a lot of people are still hanging on to hope. And so they didn't meet an abuser when they met this person. They met someone that was showing them a version of themselves that was something that probably answered all their prayers and checked all their boxes. And they just want that person back. And so what they have been led to believe is that if I just do this, then this person will do that. And when you have someone who's a true abuser, they change the rules of the game. So no matter how you show up and you do things the right way, as soon as you think you've done it the right way, boom, something else happens, and the rabbit foot is just dangling, and you're still chasing it. So you have to understand, like, that hope for a relationship is there. So just educating them, giving them education, letting them kind of identify, like, hey, I kind of got this information the other day, and it kind of looks the kind of same. Can you relate to this? Because it's like you have to meet them with humility and where they're at, and then guide them to the light. Because a lot of times there's learned hopelessness, because we're talking about the physical part of it. We're not even talking about the people who've been psychologically torn down and belittled, and they have gotten so small and so powerless, and they can't even see a way out. They can't even fathom it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like meeting people where they're at and slowly guiding them towards the light with the education, with the resources, helping them to safety plan, and finding ways up out of it. Because if I say that, oh, you need to leave this right now, and then I take her out of the situation because she might just needed safety for that day, right? But then mentally she's not there. You're gonna get upset with her when she go back, and then she goes, and then we keep pulling her out. You're gonna get upset with her when she goes back, and eventually, like, oh, I ain't helping you no more. So like, meeting people where they're at and helping them to build themselves up. Sometimes people have to do that there. Some people do it better once they leave, but that's why individual case plans matter, because we can't treat every domestic violence survivor the same. The dynamics might be similar, but the individual and their risk are different. So you have life generated risk, which might be this person has no finances. This person hasn't been taught to maintain a household beyond depending on somebody. You might have battle generated risk, where this person's behavior is definitely going to escalate. So you have to take into account of knowing what the risks are to help somebody who's ready to plan on their next steps. But you have to meet them where they're at and kind of see what they're dealing with and their thought process around it. Like, I can't sit with a survivor and make a safety plan for them. I have to make it with them, with their input. And then, because you don't want to take someone else's power from them, like, he's already taken it, or she.
Yes.
And so here I am trying to take power from you still and not listen to the voices that you have and your concerns and what you really want. And so I have to help you get to that place.
Because what about for the people, like, you know, drugs and alcohol can alter your state of mind and stuff. So what about the times that someone got drunk or got high and came home and did something to their partner, and then they assure them it's not going to happen again, it's not going to happen again, but you're always taught that if they do it once, they'll do it again.
Yeah.
So how do you analyze that one?
And that's a lot of people's hang up. Like, oh, he only does it when he's drinking. It don't make it any less.
Right.
And so helping people to understand, like, I don't have to be the burden. I'm not even burden. I don't have to be the punching bag for someone else's mishaps.
Yes.
So like if this person is struggling with alcohol, yeah, they're struggling with alcohol, but I don't have to be the person who gets the raw end of the stick because this person is struggling with alcohol. This is something that they have to do on their own. And so like even if someone has trust issues, a lot of people have violence that comes in with trust issues. And so it's like, oh, if I just prove to them that I'm not like everybody else, so then you're doing more, and then like you're trying your best. You're the person that's showing the pictures. You're the one that's texting all the time. And no matter what you do, if that person has issues within themselves, and that they're not working on, nothing's going to change. There is no change for someone who's not taking accountability. Even even the alcohol is an excuse. Yes. The alcohol is just something that you do, but there's so many other roots that are happening even before you start to pick up the alcohol, because you know, like the history shows you that I get this way when I drink. Right. I hurt my partner when I drink. Yeah. I hurt people that I claim to love when I drink. So where's the accountability on that person to not continue to drink or do the work to get sober and stay sober? Exactly. If they want a healthy relationship, if they don't want to have other people that is hurt at the expense of their shortcomings. So like a lot of times we don't hold people accountable. We make excuses for behaviors survivors do and family do. Yeah. I think one of the things when I was doing my research project in school, I did it on domestic violence, racialized perceptions of domestic violence. And so we taught it, it gave me a lot of information, even how culturally Black people respond to domestic violence, because we already have a system that we don't care for or trust. Yes. And so people's family will make you choose between your personal safety and calling law enforcement on somebody because you put them in the system. Oh, yeah. And blame you for it. Oh, you put my son in jail. No, your son's actions put him in jail. Exactly. Had he not been violent and made this person fear for her safety in her home, she would have never called law enforcement. Or so many people don't even call law enforcement because they don't want law enforcement to engage with the brother because of the history of law enforcement. And so I think there's a lot of DV that happens in all communities, but it is really tough for Black women going through domestic violence because we have to deal with all these other cultural barriers and historic elements of even not being believed, or we're supposed to be looked at as stronger, even medically. When people go to school for doctors and stuff, they told them that Black people were stronger. Like, we look at the high rates of mortality when Black women are having babies because their pains and their concerns are not being taken as seriously. So there's additional plight there for Black women when they intersect with domestic violence, because we're expected to protect our abusers. We always have been. And so how do we even challenge that? Because we have a society of people and a culture and a history that has us protect Black men, but Black men are causing us harm. Exactly.
That is, When did you begin starting to help people with domestic violence?
I started working for DAC in 2017. Okay. I came across, like, I was working, but I was looking on Indeed and I saw something, like, what's this? But the crazy part about it is I started helping people with DV while I was still in a relationship with my abuser.
That was going to be my next question. I definitely was going to ask, were you ever a victim of domestic violence?
Yes, I was. And I think I spent probably 9 years in a relationship with somebody that I would call an abuser in my work. Spent 9 years. I was 19 when I met him. He was like 32. And I think during the time that I started with the agency, there was no physical violence anymore. Okay. So it wasn't physical anymore. I had not left the situation. I was just merely surviving a situation because I felt like at the time that I had made my bed, I need to lay in it. I'm making like for me to even I think about my thought process in that time is that I was willing to wait to leave after my daughter turned 18. Like, oh, my children, I was going to stay there. My baby's 15 now. Yes. So that learned hopelessness that you don't already blew it and messed up your life. You just got to stick by the decisions that you made. Yes. That's the space that I was in. So it was a learned hopelessness. I'm sleeping on my couch. Yeah. This man's sleeping in my room for a year. Wow. And it was we just in the same house. And I'm just sitting on my couch, going to work, taking care of my kids, and sleeping on my couch, me and my baby. And I was going to do that. I can't even imagine the breakdown that I was experiencing then, that I was content. I had thought about it. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. When my children turn 8, my daughter turn 18, I'll do whatever. Right. But I had gotten to the point that I was going to settle for all of that.
Just because of your children?
Just because of my children. Because then I had been, society tells us, oh, you got 3 kids. Who's going to want you with 3 kids? Right. A lot of people do. They do. But I was I don't feel I don't have 3 kids by the time I was 21. Yes. I just, it wasn't violent to the children. Love the children. Children was just the apple of his eye. My daughter was treated like a princess. And I think that was enough that my children were at least safe. Exactly. You know what I mean? And so you kind of, there's this cognitive dissonance that happens when people are in a survival abuse. So they try to cope the way that they cope, and so they train their brain to minimize and deny things, and so that you can live with it. Yeah. And then you learn to live with it in a way that kind of blocks out a lot of things, and so you rationalize in the best way that you can at that moment, because your brain is just so scattered from the trauma. So it's but I can't, me now looking back, girl, what the hell were you thinking? Right. And then so I had to say, I would blame myself even after leaving for a long time. How the hell, And but that's where the grace comes in. Yes. And then that's you have to acknowledge the strengths that you have within yourself, or the strength that you use to survive, because they were there. It wasn't that you were weak or anything like that. You used certain strengths to survive those situations. Sometimes it took strength. Yeah. And I think a lot of my delayed healing came that when the physical was happening, I was fighting back. Yeah. So culturally, I'm okay, I ain't no victim because I'm fighting back. Nobody just whooping me. I'm fighting back.
That was a good one that you just mentioned, because that is what a lot of people may have a misconception of, thinking that if they're fighting back, they're not a victim. They're just as equally as involved.
And that's the game, because you are a victim. Because we got to look at, when I do assessments, and if there's violence present, we have to assess what was the cause for the violence. Yes. So was I looking to hurt him? No. Was I looking to gain power and control over him? No. Right. Was I looking to make him feel some type of way? No. It was reactionary violence. I was mirroring something that I was presented with, hoping that it would help me keep myself safe by fighting back. But unfortunately, me fighting back, there was no mercy shown to me. The fighting just got worse. I would be fighting like a man in the street. Right, right. And there was no mercy. No mercy. So eventually I even stopped fighting back. Because there was no mercy. I might as well just take these couple licks, because I could get whooping, so it's it wasn't nothing. Right. But I'm used to getting hit. But that's when I realized I should never have to fight at all. Yeah. Fighting back, people are oh, you're fighting back. No, you shouldn't even have to fight. There should be no violence in the home. And so making sure that we're not normalizing violence in the home is so crucial, because once we normalize it, it becomes just another day.
Oh yeah. And did you ever have someone to speak with or talk to around that time?
No. So I had family members that knew, that would get upset and stuff, that talk trash. That was the talk trash. Yeah. But I didn't reach out to any resources, which is probably what pushed me to get into the work, because I didn't reach out to any resources. Yeah. I kind of navigated my situation on my own.
You silently healed yourself.
I did it all myself. And I think a lot of it is what would have been useful to me. But I delayed fear. Yeah. To delay me moving forward, because I was done for years before I walked out the door. Yeah. So we were just staying home, because that's the thing. When you're a good person and a pure-hearted person, I was like, well, I'm just gonna let him stay here enough to let him get on his feet, because I'm gonna make him let him get on his feet, so I'm gonna let him get a job. He ain't got to pay everything like he used to pay, in hopes that you get on your feet and I feel good about the separation.
Right.
But that didn't help, because like it didn't help. Like they were content, you was comfortable, you weren't trying to go nowhere. And so like, but because I drug my feet on it, it just kind of stayed stagnant for years. But there was no, at the end of it, the last few years, there was no violence until I actually did try to end it. Yeah, so then violence resurfaced again.
Yeah. I thank God that He delivered you from that situation, and now you're able to use your story to help, and it's a testimony for you. And I hate that some people have to go through so much dark times or things to have a story or a testimony, but it builds you up to be so much stronger than the idealistic person that you thought you probably would have been. So when you were in that situation, you said your children, they were never exposed to it, correctly?
They were not really, not so much. Like they probably saw a few little things, but that's just when I talk about people using their strengths, because like they were kind of shielded from the violence.
Right.
They might have seen one or two incidents, and then my daughter saw the final incident. She did. She was right there on the couch with me. So she did. Gosh. So she was kind of in the middle of it.
Wow. Yeah. And seeing women or men who come past it or healed, do you still see the trauma that they have, or does it still come across, or are they able to live a life and completely put all that past?
So we have patterns. You know what I mean? We have patterns, and things keep showing up in our life when we don't deal with it. So you will have people that have done the work, but if removing someone from a domestic violence situation is just one part of it, there's a series of unlearning that they have to do and relearning, especially about themselves and rebuilding their self-esteem and just forgiving themselves for a past that really it's not really their fault, but they're going to absorb all the blame because they're used to. They're used to doing it, but there's a lot of self-sabotage that happens, and a lot of getting it wrong before we get it right. And so a lot of people, when they're leaving situations, and from a professional standpoint, they're leaving situations and we're worried about our hierarchy of needs. So we're worried about our housing, we're worried about getting a job, we're worried about this. And we think that if we get these things, we'll be good. Right? And then so like I even have people that have come through shelter and that they've gotten independent housing, and then I see them back in shelter. And so a lot of people worry about the basic needs, or they'll skip the support groups that are needed, because the support groups are necessary, because that's when you're learning about the dynamics, you're learning about the patterns, so that you know how to recognize it and not repeat. And so that individual reflection is totally necessary, and without it, we will continue to self-sabotage, and it might not be going back to that same abuser, but you might meet someone else like that, or you might just do things that sabotage you from gaining what you need to gain. And so the point, like everyone's going to have triggers, right? The goal is not to not have triggers. It's to identify your triggers and decide that I'm not going to continue to respond the same way.
Exactly.
And so that's the healing, and that's the growth that needs to happen. But that is done individually, working on yourself, because leaving the relationship is not enough. Like that's just the first step. And as hard as that is, that's the first step. There's so many other steps, but if people just continue to keep going, and that's fine, because that's how a lot of people cope. But then those patterns start showing up in our lives again, and we don't know what to do with it.
Now, if you could tell your younger self something today, tell your younger self something back then, what would it be?
I could tell my younger self something. Be careful that you do what you do out of love and not for love. Because a lot of times when you and I think when I mentioned this on one of my videos on social media, it was basically when I was talking about the abandonment issues and the people pleasing. Like I learned that behavior very early on, because I was trying to not take up space in a way that I was a burden. Like I knew that I would take up space as like what I wanted to be. And like I knew I wasn't going to be a silent or dormant like person.
Yes.
But as far as earning my keep, like I wanted to, like I decided I was going to be the child that you're going to want to keep me because you can brag on me. So it made me like really competitive. Like I had to win. I had to win. I had to be the person in front. Like it just became my personality. And then so even as when it came romantically, I'm going to be honest with you. I had 3 kids before I was 21, and I'm telling you, I didn't know my body. Seriously, know my body and the things that I really liked or that brought me pleasure until after I had those kids. I was just being performative. So I was doing what I thought that the other person wanted me to do.
Yes.
So and that's a lot of women. It's like they're just doing what they think someone wants them to do. In order to be wanted, and wanted to be valued in a certain way. So be careful what you do. Make sure that you do it out of love and not for love. Because when you do it for love, it lets people, it gives someone else more power. And so like you don't have any because you're just going along and performing with the hopes that you get the prize at the end.
What would you say today the most happy about accomplishing besides your children? Because I know that's probably the main one.
I think I'm most happy about accomplishing peace.
Oh yes.
So like, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's no. I mean, like real peace where I can look back at every situation and be thankful for it. Like I'm not mad at nobody. Like I think that's what I'm more happy for is that I don't walk around here with a grudge on anybody. Yes. Like I'm not mad at a single soul about nothing that happened because I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful that whatever's happened has happened. Yes. Because I've taken something from everything. And so I'm not bitter. I ain't angry. I ain't mad. There can't nobody in this world telling you that I'm beefing with them right now or I'm upset. Like I was telling a friend the other day because I was reflecting on even there was some child predators in my life. Yeah. And so I'm a notary, right? So one day I get a call and I was like, hey, can you notarize this paper for my grandfather? He's in the hospital or whatever. I'm trying to be his power of attorney so that I can make some decisions for him because he's not able to. So I'm like, okay, so I just go. And lo and behold, the man that used to make us sit on his lap and rub his genitals and touch us was laying in that bed. And I thought he was dead. Yes. The man is laying in the bed, and that's who I'm supposed to notarize the paper for. And so, like when you're doing like a power of attorney, you have to make sure someone's in their right mind that they can give consent. Yes. So I had to gather myself and ask the questions, but he couldn't. Like he could not tell me who the president was. He couldn't tell me what the day was. So like ethically, I couldn't perform the notary service. And I had to sit in my car when I left, like, Lord, why would you put me in the room with this man and you know what he did?
Just so you can see how far you overcame.
It's like this man who was a monster and that was so big because he was a large man, was so small he couldn't even. All he spoke was gibberish. Yeah. And so sometimes like that wasn't even like I never really told a lot of people. It was never reported. Yes. But I think a part of my healing was God bringing me to that room and seeing that the monster that was in that closet look because he don't have no power over you no more. Oh yeah. And so I was able to be professional, excuse myself. Of course, the family was upset because I can't notarize the paper, but it wasn't out of malice. It's just ethically I couldn't get it done. Yeah. And so I think one of the things when we talk about like how you over something, you're given the opportunity to get even and you don't pick it. And so it let me know then where my healing was because the intention was never to be triggered and respond to certain negatively. I was able to show up as me, who I am with my integrity and move on about my day.
Someone who wasn't healed, that probably wouldn't have happened that way.
Would have beat him in the bed.
What?
So, but God is good. Feel good. I'm grateful.
Before we switch to, I have a little game that I wanted to do just to change the narrative or the conversation up. But before I do that, if you could give maybe like a small little speech, a motivational speech to the young ones, to the adults, women, even men out there that are watching, that either even if they're not in a domestic violence relationship, just being able to take life on for what it is, what type of advice would you give them?
All in all of us have a story. Sometimes we are the victim in the story, sometimes we're the villain in the story. So at the end of the day, you are not what happened to you, you're who you choose to become. And so when we have a set goal in mind, we want to focus on that, not on that destination, but the journey that takes us to get to that destination. One of the quotes that I really love is that beware of destination happiness, the idea that happiness is someone else, in another job, in another human, in another position, in another opportunity. As long as you think that happiness is somewhere else, it'll never be where you are. So enjoy your journey and don't shy away from it. But get to know yourself and all of you, the ugly parts too. The parts that we don't even want to read out loud. Because dealing with those ugly parts is going to get you to your best self.
I love it. All right. So it's a little thing there. It's on the front, it says no, and on the back, it says yes. So I'm just going to ask you a few quick questions and you just turn yes or no. Do you believe confidence can be practiced?
That's a tricky one. So I don't have no explanation.
Well, you can do an explanation.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes, because some people absolutely have to fake it till they make it. Like that's where when we talk about affirmations, daily affirmations, it's a process of retraining your brain. So where I'm not confident, we're changing that mindset to say I'm just not confident yet, but I'm gonna work towards it. So I strong believer of change your thoughts, change your world.
Okay.
And so sometimes, yes, it can be practiced, but we want to follow up with it. Like I'm not just faking those affirmations, faking that confidence. I'm gonna show up as myself, but then speak it to existence and make it true. Okay. Make it true.
All right. Do you believe growth requires discomfort?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And should forgiveness always come with reconciliation?
No.
And why do you say that?
You can forgive somebody, but forgiveness is something that is necessary for you. It's not for the other person. Okay. So I can. You hurt me, however you decide. You played your hand. And then now it's my choice, right? Right. And so if I can forgive you. That means I have no ill will towards you, but I have enough discernment to know that I don't want you in my life anymore. Yes. And then that's the repercussion of your betrayal or whatever you did. So like you have to live with that, but I can move on and free and at peace. But I don't have to reconnect unless I choose to. And if I choose to reconnect, it's on my terms and how I want to reconnect. So no, you don't have to.
Okay. And should you explain your boundaries to everyone, not just like the person you're involved with?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna only say that because I don't have to explain my boundaries. I can set my boundaries, right? My boundaries are for me. So like if someone comes and it's like, oh, do this for me, and I say no. Right. No is a complete sentence. It's a period at the end. I don't have to say, oh no, I got something to do, because it sounds better. A lot of people don't want to set boundaries because they feel like it makes them a bad person or makes them look bad. Oh, you give me a ride, such and such. No, but why you can't give me a ride? I just no. Yeah. And so we kind of like and it's not that you're not a good person, but sometimes we do a lot for other people and we don't prioritize ourselves. That's true. So when we got a day for ourselves and someone asks us something, it don't make me a bad person for saying no. I have to do some type of self-preservation. And this is so funny because I did a support group on this, and it was like, stop saying yes to the shit you hate.
That's true. That's true. That's true, because you be so worried about the other person's feelings, and you're not thinking about your own in that moment, and then it ended up being other mess that Okay, is it possible to heal without confronting the person who hurt you?
I'm gonna say yes. Okay. Because some people want to confront people because they want closure. They're trying to understand why. Yes. And so a lot of times people don't even need a why to hurt you. Mm-hmm. I think it brings us some type of comfort, like, oh, I'm trying to understand because this person got to be messed up if they did. Like, right. What's going on with you? And honestly, the trauma-informed part of me would say, oh, behaviors like, because even if I'm looking like, I look at someone's behavior, mm-hmm. I want to see the root because that's the trauma-informed, that's the sociology, right. That's the psychology part. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to somebody that's hurting you, people want to look for peace in knowing that this person didn't intend to do the offense. Yes. But sometimes when we have someone who isn't healed, when we go seeking closure for them, mm-hmm. a lot of times it gives them opportunity to reel us back in and do the same old thing.
That's true. All right, now this one you're just going to choose one. Healing in silence or healing out loud?
It's individual based. So I don't have a yes or no. Okay. So because like sometimes healing in silence works best for who it works best for. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling someone the other day, like I don't mind being, because I don't care. Yeah. I don't mind someone knowing stuff about me that, because my whole purpose is to help someone else. Yes. But some people can't bear that. Like mm-hmm. they still can't get over that shame, even if they mm-hmm. move past it. Yeah. They can't bear it. Like they see it completely different. So right. It's on an individual basis. If someone, as long as they're doing the work, yeah, they don't have to publicize it. Mm-hmm. But there's a section of people out there that need it publicized. Right. So it just but everyone can't bear the cross of being publicized. Mm-hmm. That comes with a lot. It comes with a lot. Because you have to be ready. That's what I was gonna say. You definitely have to be ready. I'd said somebody kept asking me the book that I had published. Is it about you? Is it about you? I'm mm-hmm. like, no. I put pieces in there to make people, because people are so nosy, mm-hmm. to make them think that. But once you actually read, you understand like it's a totally different other character. But I'm not ready to do my own story. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I would have to be ready for. Right. So I understand that. Purpose or peace? Purpose or peace? I think with anything you have to have a healthy balance, because mm-hmm. like I'm purpose driven, mm-hmm. but I'm also looking for peace. Right. So I've actually found it, thank God. But I know a lot of times our purpose drives us, mm-hmm. and it's like it drives us, and we run. Yes. So it's like that's something too. It's like I have a purpose here, but I have to maintain my own balance. I'm going to give everything, mm-hmm. and then I don't have anything left. Yeah. So I love them both because right. I feel like in order to be fully driven towards your purpose, you have to have a peace too. Yes. So if you can't show up as your best self, mm-hmm. if you're depleted. Yep, that's true. And last one on here, soft heart or strong mind? These are a little hard. But I know you're going to give us the best answers. So. Okay, so God. I guess it depends on what's leading. Mm-hmm. So like if like the soft heart, like that, I'm trying to see. It depends on what's leading. Am I leading with my strong mind, or if I'm leading with my soft heart? A lot of times that soft heart, boy, that'll get you hurt. That'll get you hurt. I will. So I'm gonna say because, and even sometimes even with a strong mind, you can get hurt. Oh yeah. Because we're so adamant in our own ways that mm-hmm. we don't see beyond that. Yeah. But I'm gonna say strong mind. Okay. Strong mind. Yeah. Fix your face, sis. So can you explain to us the thought process that went into this? Mm-hmm. And you just released this book as well. So tell us a little about this. So Fix Your Faces, I published it on Amazon in January of this year. Mm-hmm. Fix Your Faces itself, like a lot of people say, oh, fix your face. And they want you to straighten up your face. Right. And so the book is, or even just the brand itself, is not about just fixing your face to just pretend. Mm-hmm. It's about facing yourself. Yes. And so like it's the mirror, it's the reflection. Mm-hmm. Only person that's going to get us the life that we want is us. Yeah. And so all the answers that you have are within you. Mm-hmm. And if we want to add the Bible attachment is in the Bible guide, if that's your thing. Right. But like earthly, mm-hmm. everything that you're looking for is in yourself. All the answers, all your history is there. Mm-hmm. The body keeps score. Yes. So like your body will recall things that your mind has forgotten. Mm-hmm. and a way to protect itself.
Yes.
So a lot of times when we show up at a certain point in our lives, we got to figure out who's talking, who's showing up. Because some of us show up as a little girl that was hurt at 15 when things happen to us. Like, you can be triggered today, and then you respond as that 15-year-old girl as if from the first time you were encountered with something real harsh. And so, or that we run from things.
Yes.
Where did I learn that behavior from? Or that something comes up and I get like where I'm responding, I'm yelling, or I'm talking nasty to somebody, or I cut people deep, and I wonder, like, why do I do that? So, like, sometimes our personality is developed through our trauma, and then people are like, oh, that's just the way I am, and that's not helpful at all.
Right.
It's not helpful at all. Like, oh, this happened to me. This is how I guard myself. So, am I living out of fear because it looks like that your behaviors are rooted in fear?
Yes.
Instead of intention. And so I want to make intentional choices about myself and about my future that are not rooted in fear. Like, for instance, that we had a lot of us come from lack in our childhood. So then now we're in our adulthood, we're trying to give our children all the stuff that we didn't have, right? So that what's the motivation? Coming from a place of lack. And then some of us overdo it. Like myself included, because I'm wondering where did I go wrong in some certain things, because I was intentional in a lot of ways.
Yes.
With certain exposure, but a lot of times I was too freely giving because I didn't have it. So the kids ain't earned nothing. Our generation has not earned anything because we gave them stuff that we wanted when we were kids.
And trying to overcompensate.
So like that was, the fear of being like my parents.
Exactly.
So it's like we want to make sure that we are looking within ourselves and asking ourselves the hard questions that we don't want to talk about, the things that we don't want to confront. Like even like the first page goes on to ask, like, how are you doing truthfully? Because a lot of people give you a surface based, and you're like, oh, I'm doing good, I'm this and that. And that's not the truth.
That's nowhere near. Right.
And so it kind of lets women to know who their identities are outside of their attachments. Because if I were to say, hey, Andrea, tell me a little bit about yourself. Oh, my name's Andrea. Adriana, sorry. And I'm a mother. I'm a spouse. I'm a this and that. And that's nothing about Adriana. It's about all your attachments. So this is getting to know you without the attachments. The things that we hide behind.
Right. And is this a book or like a journal?
It's a journal.
So you can write in it as well. You can
write in it. So it's a 30-day guided journal. So every day comes with a prompt, and then it comes with a daily mantra at it. Like every day has a daily mantra at the bottom. And then there's a space for you at the end once you complete the 30-day journal to create your own mantras.
Yes.
And to also just write. But the only way that you can be successful in this journal is that you are being honest with yourself.
Right.
Like really being vulnerable and honest and putting it on the paper. Yes. Because, and then after this, it's like you ask yourself what's next. Like, I'll be having some workbooks come out.
Yes.
And some more branded material, right? But honestly, you ask yourself what's next. Like, what do I want to accomplish?
Right.
And so it's all about you. Yes. And it's bringing you back home. And just that daily reflection that we don't want to address. It has to be done.
I would say this is a very much needed journal.
Yeah, it has to be done.
It has to, because like you said, people fake it.
We fake it.
And sometimes you can tell somebody what you're really going through and they don't give you the type of loving that you need. So just having something that you can sit to the side, reading, it's good too, but being able to express and write exactly what's going on in your brain. Because I tell my sister when we talking, I'll be like, it's okay to write, and text stuff. That's fine, but when you're writing, your brain just is like going, and it feels so good afterwards. So I would say yes to this book. I'm definitely gonna get me a copy too.
Because a lot of people try to journal and they don't know where to start. Like, I don't know. Right. So that's why I did the guided journal, because it prompts you every day. Yes. Like, I'm going to give an example for one of the questions that are in the book.
It's better than like diary writing.
And there's different like things that'll be like self-awareness, and it'd be like identity healing and setting boundaries. And so this one says about boundaries and self-trust.
Okay.
And so this question says, where have I learned not to trust myself? And how can I rebuild that trust?
So it makes you look in deep into yourself to think about the things.
Yes. So it's like if I've made mistakes, and so now it's like I'm kind of scared to trust them on my decision making, and so like I rely. Oh, I might go and ask them like, hey, what do you think? But I gotta have all these opinions before I move forward in my next step. And so why don't I trust myself enough with this? And that's just one question, but it allows you to say, hey, where did I start this, and how do I change the behavior? Where do I do this? And how do I change that behavior? So it's asking you questions about yourself to dig really deep, because you want to identify the patterns that are preventing you from moving forward, because we all have them. Yes. It's not, and when I was even before when I was talking about patterns, it wasn't just DV patterns. It's self-sabotaging patterns, like because we self-sabotage. Yes. And unconsciously, but we still do it. Yeah. So when I figure out what my patterns are, how do I stop it? How do I stop repeating that cycle?
You know, too, a lot of people have things that happen to them and their brain blocks it out. So they literally cannot remember what has happened to them trauma-wise. So seeing a question and making you really like self-reflect, it may bring out a lot of internal emotions that you never even knew, but it'll help you in the future. Okay, now just wrapping this up, I want to thank you again for your appearance here today. You know, one thing I took from this is life can either be a blessing or a lesson. No matter what you go through, you can turn something negative into a positive. And what you're doing in your work field, I know that helps keep you grounded as well. And having people who are your age and this come out, I've seen everybody talking about this channel, like seriously. And so you can see the work that you're doing, and they always say if you can touch one person, that's all you need. That's all I need. And God laid you on me. I'm serious because I didn't even know you was dropping your book when I had released mine, and I was, oh my gosh, I was so like seriously, because I'd be like thinking like a lot of people don't take steps or out of fear. They be so afraid to do certain things. So when I seen that, I was like, oh my goodness. And then the more I kept, it's like a car. When you get a new car, you don't see that car nowhere until you get it. And I promise that's how it was with you. Once I seen this one little snippet of you posting the book, I've seen you everywhere down my side. And it was so inspiring though. And I was like, I have to get her on. Yeah. And then you're lined up, I think, somewhere else. Yeah. So, next week.
Yeah. But that one's for work. This is for Fix Your Face. But work, I'm doing a neighborhood watch with Holly Hill Police Department. Okay. So yeah.
So yeah, you're all over doing a lot of different things. You guys grab this book here, Fix Your Face, Sis. And I have a little gift for you under the table.
Ooh, I love gifts. Gift girl.
Go ahead. Thank you. You're welcome. You can open it as I wanted you to read. And because I truly believe that, I've always felt the words on there for you is meant for you, should I say.
Oh, I love this. May you be proud of the work you do and the person you are and the difference you make. This is so nice.
Yes.
Oh my God. This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very much welcome. And where can they find this book, find you?
Okay. So this book is on Amazon. So if you type in Fix Your Face, just put book at the end, it'll take you to this 30-day guided journal. Also, I have some copies on hand. I am getting ready to order another batch of author's copies to sell them directly, which I'm glad for Amazon for the outlet, but I don't mind paying the full price with me for the author's copies. So you can find me on Facebook at Emily Jr. or Fix Your Face Sis LLC. Those are two Facebook pages. And I also have an email address at fixyourfacesis@gmail.com. So you can pre-order through any of those through the messenger, on my timeline, on that email. You can pre-order, and I'll make sure you get that journal.
All right. And is there anything upcoming that you have that you like for them to know about?
I am working on a workbook, and it's for healing the little girl inside of you. Oh, yes. So that one I probably will be looking at doing on another publishing outlook, or probably like digital immerse or something like that. I haven't really figured out the stream for it, but I definitely will be redoing a workbook. I'm still like getting the kinks out of it and trying to perfect it. But yeah, the next one is an ebook, and then there will be this year there'll be some form of a workshop.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations to you. And Emma, thank you for your transparency, your strength, and your willingness to share your journey. Conversations like this don't just inspire, they heal. And I know someone watching needed to hear every word you spoke today. To everyone tuning in, if this episode touched you, challenged you, or reminded you of your worth, I encourage you to share it with another woman who may need the encouragement. That's how we build a community. That's how we grow. Remember, healing is a journey, strength is built daily, and better days are not just wished for, they are created. Thank you for being a part of Talk to Me Podcast 100, where we turn pain into purpose and conversations into transformation. Thank you again, Emma.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.